How y'all doing? This is Preacher Man R&B, and this is another movie reviews. This time we're reviewing Facing the Giants. And what this movie is about a Christian high school, and they've had a losing season for 6 years. And the head coach is kind of the reason they've been having a losing season. And all this stuff's happening in his life. His car's breaking down, can't afford a new one. His house stinks and they don't know why, and their stove broke and they can't have a baby. And these problems are piling in on them. It's getting a hold of this family. And what happens is they start the new season and they start losing. They lose 3 games in a row. And the fathers of the players goes to one of the assistant coaches and tells them that they need him as the head coach and they need to get rid of Coach Taylor. And at first, the assistant coach is kind of listening to him, but he doesn't want to stab his friend in the back. And then at the end of the last game that they lose, the head coach, Coach Taylor, comes to one of the fathers while he's talking to the assistant coach, and the assistant coach tells him that he came to him. And Coach Taylor tells the assistant coach that he needs to pick a side. He can't straddle the fence. Either he's with them or against them. And then after this, they find out that they aren't pregnant again, and the coach goes into prayer and starts reading his Bible and asking God to help him. And there's this man that's been praying for the school for the past couple of years, and he goes around all the lockers and he touches them and prays for them while he's walking down the halls. And he talks to Coach Taylor and tells him that he's felt led that God wants him to plant his field and to prepare for rain. He uses this as a metaphor. And he tells them there was 2 farmers. There was one farmer that prepared for the rain, and there was another one that didn't. And which one did you think that got the rain? And it was the one that prepared for it. So this is what Coach Taylor does. He makes a new team philosophy to follow God. If they lose, they praise God. If they win, they praise God. And they start winning, and a couple of weeks later, a big revival happens at this school during a Bible study. And they take it to the football field, and a whole bunch of kids get saved. One of the football players gets saved, and he asks the coach to take him to talk to his daddy, because him and his daddy ain't got that good of a relationship, and he disrespects his daddy a lot. And he goes and talks to his daddy and tells him that he got saved and got right with Jesus, and from now on that he's going to listen to him and do as he says. And then they leave, and the dad sees the coach take him back to school. Well, after this daddy and his son buy the coach a new truck and put a note on it telling him that this is his truck. The title of the truck's in his name, and they appreciate everything the coach has done. And the father tells the son, "Don't tell this to anybody." The son says, "Yes, sir." Well, they keep winning, and they go to the playoffs, and they lose the first round of the playoffs. But what happened was the team that they was playing against played 2 ineligible 19-year-olds and was forced to forfeit. So the Shiloh Eagles go into the playoffs, and they win up to the state championship. Now they're in the championship. Well, before the championship game, the coach's wife goes back to the pregnancy doctor and gets tested again because she's been sick, and now she feels fine. And the nurse tells her that she's not pregnant. Well, what happens is the nurse got the wrong file, and the coach's wife's file is pregnant. So she runs out to the car and tells her, and you could tell this woman really wanted this and is praising God. So she goes to the game, and the Shiloh Eagles play the Giants, hence the name Facing the Giants. Well, the first quarter, they are down 14-0, and at the end of the second quarter, Shiloh gets 1 touchdown. Well, they go into the third quarter, and they start using these trick plays and getting on the board, and the head coach of the Giants is getting frustrated and tells them, "We're not kicking field goals, we're going for it all the way. Field goals are not acceptable." So it gets down to win the game, the Eagles have to kick a field goal. Well, there's this kid that just started school earlier in the movie, and he's a soccer player, and his dad is trying to get him not to doubt himself, so he tries out for the team, and he's not really that good, but he makes the team, and through the whole movie, he's getting better and better and learning to trust God. That way he could get better. And every time he goes to kick the field goal, his daddy's in a wheelchair, and he goes like this. That way he'll make it. Well, at the state championship, the daddy goes to the end of the field post and gets out of his wheelchair and leans up against the fence and does this. And a guy asks him, "Do you need help?" He says, "Don't touch me. I'm standing for my son." And his son kicks a 53-yard field goal. This is the first time he's ever kicked a field goal that long, and they win the state championship. Well, after this, Coach Taylor's wife tells him that he's made the team, and he says, "What team?" And she tells him the daddy team. And at the end of the movie, it shows that they've won 2 back-to-back state championships, and they have a set of twins. And this movie just shows the power of God. If you have faith in God, God will bless you. And if y'all ever watch this movie, what did y'all learn from this movie? How did God speak to y'all through this movie? As always, this is Preacher Man R&B signing out. Guys, Jesus is awesome. And next week, I will be reviewing the 5th quarter, so y'all be looking for that. I'll see y'all next time.